Okay, well, thank you very much. And I wish everybody prosperity and health during this challenging time of COVID. I'll be speaking a little slower because I understand this is being translated in Mandarin. So Greenbriar was created with a love and passion to build enormous shareholder value. Our business focus is what we call high impact social investing. So we have about $750 million projects on the books with 24 million shares outstanding. And our ethical investment strategy is environmental infrastructure assets that have a very high impact rate of return. And all of the assets that we've bought, we've done so for pennies on the dollar over the last 9 or 10 years. So high impact returns are achieved by solving very complex problems. So infrastructure assets like solar and wind generally have very low equity returns, but there's two areas in North America that have great opportunity, and that's Hawaii and Puerto Rico. And the reason being is that these two regions use power generation that uses old crude oil plants. They burn very expensive crude oil in very old steam plants, and the cost of generation in Hawaii and Puerto Rico are 400 to 500% higher than anywhere else in North America. So we take advantage of that opportunity, and the wholesale rate that we get is 400% more than if you built a solar plant anywhere else in the United States. So our past track record, I founded a company called Western Wind Energy for $250,000. I sold it for $420 million to Brookfield. I've done a lot of private projects since that time. And our whole team since 2003 has financed and built over $180 billion of projects. And that's the reason why that we're able to have $750 million of projects with only 24 million shares outstanding. So the timing here is very exceptional. There was an earthquake this year, 2020, that destroyed 25% of the generation in the island. Before the hurricanes and before the earthquake, there was a cost of generation that was still 400 to 500% higher. So regardless of the earthquake and the hurricanes, the cost of power in Puerto Rico was extremely high. Our previous company, Western Wind, which was Greenbriar was spun out of, had spent $55 million already in Puerto Rico. So we had already a very strong financial base there. Our project does not require any shareholder dilution to get to where it has to go to in building these projects. And the full value for the shareholders happens at the start of construction, not when the project's built. So a lot of people say, we have to wait for the project to be built. No, in the case of infrastructure assets, you get full value when the construction starts because the bank guarantees and the EPC contractor, the company that builds the project, guarantees to the bank that it's going to be built on time and on budget. So after the devastation of the two big hurricanes in 2017, Hurricane Irma and Hurricane Maria, there was a devastating earthquake in 2020. The largest power plant was destroyed. It took out 25% of the generation of the entire island. And that's what pushed all the agencies in Puerto Rico to approve our solar project and 15 other projects. Our project is the largest. It generates about 30% of what the other projects do. And it was approved by the governing board of PREPA on May 28th. That's why you saw an increase in our share price to, I think, $1.25 to almost $5 in a matter of a few days. And then our project was approved by the Puerto Rican Energy Bureau on August 7th. And we're finally waiting for a signature from the federal government. And it's been a little bit late coming. It is coming. And that delay obviously has caused some buying opportunities in our company. So what we do with our company and what we do with our solar project is we do something great for the environment, but we also do something great for our shareholders. We fund all of our projects at the project level, so that avoids dilution to any of the shareholders and increases the value. And Montalva can be expanded to double the size that is being that is approved right now to be built, and we're in an ideal strategic location to actually do that. So when you look at how, what specific expertise do we have in the sense that keeps us ahead of the pack? Most energy contracts have fixed price contracts. So it simply means the entire island or entire region all has one price. What we do in our expertise, being there for 12 years, we obtained the #1 location in the island 12 years ago, which simply means that aside from the design of the project, which produces double, we also have the highest solar radiation. So our site, compared to any other site in the island, has double the generation. So we're simply getting between 2 to 4 times more power generated from each solar panel, not including the fact there's a 400% increase in price. So we cannot just take away from the utility, we have to give something back. So even though our cost of the power that we receive, the wholesale price, is 400% higher, we are still 50% cheaper than what the utility is paying to buy that power. And then we're also connected to the strongest part of the transmission system, which means that we provide a 38% savings to the utility in that we fill up the transmission system 38% more than any other solar project. And the cost of generating electricity, a big aspect, is actual transmission. So for the project highlights, it's roughly $36 million a year, US dollars, of revenue, with around $13 million of what we call free cash flow. The banks pick up 60% of the cost. 14% is carried by the EPC contractor because they're getting a $200 million plus contract to build a project. And 26% is currently provided by the federal government. And we save the utility over $2 billion over the 35-year life of the agreement. So the key catalysts, we've signed a LOI, a letter of intent, with our EPC contractor, which is China Machinery Engineering Corporation. They're a $40 billion world-class engineering firm out of Beijing. We have a fully executed power contract waiting for a final signature from the federal government. We understand that is a few weeks away now. It's taken a little bit longer than usual, but that's the federal government. They tend to take their time. And the groundbreaking with road building, we still expect to do at the end of the year. And we expect that full value to come roughly at that same time. It might be a month or two late to get that full value, but the full value doesn't mean the stock doubling in price. It means the full value of the company, we anticipate at around $16 a share for this project. If you look at our team, we've done a lot of work in the business. I've, of course, founded Western Wind, sold that to Brookfield Asset Management. I've done $3.9 billion of transactions in my career. Cliff Webb, our president, he was chief engineer of the California Energy Commission. He was the personal nuclear energy advisor to Governor Jerry Brown of California. He was the head of renewables for Southern California Edison, which is one of the largest utilities in the world. For the rest of our group, again, we've built over 50,000 megawatts of projects throughout the United States and Canada, and we funded and closed over $180 billion of projects since 2003. Greenbriar is a very tightly held company. I've been the CEO for 11 years. I don't take a salary other than our CFO with a very nominal salary and our president with a very nominal salary. We simply don't have a burn rate. We have no administration costs. All of the directors work because of the equity that they own in the company. As direct reporting, we have about 24-25%. With family and insiders and friends, those numbers are a lot higher. But this is a very, very, very tightly held company, and we're very much aligned with the shareholders of the company. So the reasons to invest: you have a very experienced management team who's done, again, billions of dollars of transactions, have been successful all the way through. My first public company was 1985. I've not had one public company that has not succeeded for the shareholders. We bought assets for pennies on the dollar. They have a very, very high rate of return. And we have upcoming catalysts that we spoke about regarding the federal government signature, but also the real estate project that we'll get into here in just a second. So our other assets, we have a 50% carried interest in a $400 million residential subdivision in California, where another company spends all the costs. We own the project. They're entitled to 50% of the net profits. We have 100% of the entire project. We also own 10.7 million shares of Captiva Verde. I think it last time on a financial statement showed a value of around 6 million. We feel in about a year and a half time that Captiva will be worth several dollars a share, and that'll be a great added value to our company. So the Sage Ranch project, that basically is a 1,000 unit subdivision. We have a 50% carried interest, and it is in a community of Southern California where there's a housing shortage of 2.4 million entry-level homes. This is a sustainable subdivision as well, but it's entry-level pricing, which means the cost of subsidizing a mortgage is cheaper than actually paying a rent. And so the pricing of this is very, very, very attractive. And right now, there's a complete shortage of entry-level homes. So for the price range, these are in the $350,000 to $500,000 range. It's a very, very, very beautiful design. We've hired world-class architects to do this. So on the left, you'll see the old tentative track map. The old developer spent $21 million in 2006 getting 688 houses approved. And then we came in 2011 after in the middle of the financial crisis, and we bought that entire land package for $1 million. I mean, exactly $1,040,000. So we knew the opportunity that we had. We knew we had to wait a little bit of time to go through that recession, but also to convince the city that we could build a very dense apartment, townhouse complex with homes, and in this case, 1,000 homes, which basically meets the needs of everybody within the region. Again, the house is a sustainable approach, so it has solar panel roofs, smart meters, energy efficient building materials, and we're also have what we call low flow irrigation. So we recycle gray water, the water that's coming from storm drainage and rainfall, and using that for irrigation. When we talk about sustainability, the project from a design perspective has 9 parks, so it has a lot of green space. But what gives this project, and I believe we're going to win an award for sustainability, this project is adjacent the high school, literally adjacent the high school on the east side. It's adjacent the elementary school on the southwest side, and it's adjacent the middle school on the northeast side. So you do not have to drive from your home to go to school or to take your children to school. you're never more than a 3-block walk away. And we're 4 to 5 blocks from the downtown core, and it has a very attractive downtown, historic downtown that brings in a lot of tourists. So we have an award-winning design group, JZMK. They build projects all over the world, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, very world-class firm. And it's designed with what we call a low carbon footprint. So if you're not driving your kids to school, you basically have almost what we call a zero carbon footprint. You're not using any energy to do basic traveling, basic needs of having to live in your community.
Hi, Jeff, you may like to wrap up a bit because we're almost there. We have a couple of questions for you.
Yep. And okay, so the designs again are world class. Our project manager has built 4,500 homes in Canada and the United States since 1974. And you're not going to find any of the value in our financial statements because when you buy things at pennies on the dollar under US GAAP or IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, you can only record things at book value. We have very clean financial statements. We had 12 cents a share net earnings the last quarter. And again, this is an extremely well-managed company with substantial assets. And I'm ready to answer any questions.
Thank you, Jeff. So the first question is from, I believe it's Richard, asking you, is your solar farm hurricane proof?
Yeah, everybody that builds a solar farm in Puerto Rico of any size or any reputation has to build a farm to withstand a direct hit from a Class 5 hurricane, which is 155 miles an hour. In addition to that, we're on the southwest side of the island. So, and all the hurricanes come from the east side, and by the time they cross the mountain range, they always trend northwest. They've never trended southwest. So in the middle of the 155-mile-an-hour hurricane in 2017, the maximum winds were 80 miles an hour at our site, even though the site has to be built for 155-mile-an-hour winds to withstand them.
Okay, good. One more question for you here from Jeremiah. We will have to renegotiate your contract if you're not selected to proceed under the FOMB 150 megawatts cap?
No. So initially what happened was the oversight board wanted all the projects to be signed immediately, and they pushed the utility to do that. The utility did that, negotiated with us. There was a consultant that came in and that said that these projects should be they're at 10.5 cents starting price is a good price, plus an escalator. He recommended anything to be done under 10 cents. Everybody repriced at that point. A lot of people priced at 10 cents even with an escalator. Everybody else priced at 9.9. We priced at 9.85. And then the oversight board, through a little aggravation, through an outside source, said, hey, we think these projects can be done for 8 cents. They can't be done for 8 cents for various reasons, including not having access to properties or transmission. And the oversight board has backed off that now. The oversight board has simply said to PREPA, when you've given us your project, please rank the projects in level 1, 2, 3, all the way down to 15, so we can understand why you're ranking them. And from what we've heard right now is the oversight board is willing to go more than the 150 megawatts they initially said. So we do not expect any repricing.
Okay, yes. So thank you for answering these couple of questions. Thank you for your time here today, Jeff.
Thank you.